Good to see you again. It is Thursday, 17th day of December 2020. I am Dan Kuntz, 1 week from Christmas Eve. The holidays are in full swing. A little bit of a white Christmas, maybe? No, I don't know. I'm teasing you a little bit because the snow that we had yesterday was not expected. It wasn't in the forecast. Officially, up at Pangbourne, where they measure these things, 0.28 inches of snow, a little more than a quarter of an inch of snow, which is about what I got down here at my home on the valley floor. Going to start melting. Yeah, there's a parade of storms, 3 of them. They're lined up, they're ready to go. They're going to bring in, some moist air, but some very mild air as well. It was some significant snow melt coming our way for the weekend. Passes right now are just getting hammered. Quick heads up on that. If you're traveling into the Cascades right now, I wouldn't. Maybe put it off for a couple hours and the snow tapers off. Supposed to anyway. Any number of slick spots out there. The main arterials on the valley floor are okay. But there are some other areas they're pretty slick, we're told. The scanner had a lot of spinouts. Nobody's seriously injured, just cars and ditches. People are not really prepared to drive in the snow, but you won't have to worry about it by the end of the day today. It's going to be gone. Forecast details are coming up. A lot of news to get to, some COVID, some not. Sports, we'll preview the Seahawks and the Washington football team. They're getting ready to do battle on Sunday morning in Landover, Maryland. We'll also have the obscure holiday, Today in History. Mike McKnight's got an opinion. Also some celebrity birthdays. It's Thursday, and every other Thursday is Paws for Pets. You get to meet Gus the dog today with our very own Megan McPherson. That's going to come up in the back half of the hour. Lots to get to. Going to be a busy day. It's dark. It's not bad. It's 30 degrees. Let's take you around the valley. My guess is since Megan is showing us the downtown Wenatchee cam, but the cross cam is fogged over, and that is, in fact, the case. It is 30 degrees outside of our studios. A couple of interesting weather phenomenons yesterday. Our forecast high was 37. We only got to 31. Cold air never quite dissipated. That 31-degree high on Wednesday happened right before midnight. Once the snow came through and tapered off, some warmer air came in. In fact, we had very little temperature variation. Our low yesterday, 27, our high 31, just 4 degrees between our high and our low. It happens this time of the year, but seeing how the high temperature was right before Wednesday became Thursday was somewhat interesting. Sunrise this morning, 7:43. Sunset 4:11. Sunset's going to be just a tad bit later than normal. Sunrise a little bit later than normal. 8 hours and 28 minutes of daylight. We're not going to get below that 8 hour and 28 minute of daylight mark. It's going to be just right around there, right through Saturday. Sunday, of course, last day of autumn. Monday, the winter solstice, and we begin winter for the year. So beautiful downtown Wenatchee. As you can see, the traffic seems to be doing okay. It's early, not a lot of people are out and about yet. Camera number 2, Megan's choice. Let's see what we got. It's still dark, so it's gonna, wow, that's cool. Black Mountain, phenomenal. Look at that. That's Leavenworth you see way off into the distance. And that is not, you're going to, how come it's so much brighter there? Well, just a quick explanation. The cameras are designed to let in as much light as they possibly can. That's how it works. And so, because it's light enough with the lights of Leavenworth and the snow on the ground, that amplifies the light. That's why it looks so much brighter than it actually is. Trust me, it's dark up at Black Mountain. It looks like they're still getting a little bit of residual snow coming down from high atop Peshastin, and that's Leavenworth you see way off in the distance. Camera number 3. Downtown Cashmere. Well, all of Cashmere pretty much from the Appalachians camera. I understand that the route, I've had a couple of people tell me that the route between Cashmere and Wenatchee has some slick spots in it. I'm not surprised about that. Outside of that, Cashmere looks kind of fogged over and quite a bit of snow on the ground. To our friends to the immediate northwest, and camera number 4. Wow. Billy Goat, great stuff. Again, same as Black Mountain. That camera has zoomed out as far as it can go, so it's getting a lot of information and a lot of light being let into that camera location. And that, of course, Black Mountain is one of the highest cameras that the Sky-Fi system has. That's Proteris that you see. Those lights down there with the clouds have parted just a little bit, and Brewster's off into the distance, Bridgeport. Then farther out and up you go to Omak, Okanagan, Riverside, Orville, and eventually, of course, Canada. Phenomenal view from Billy Goat. And as I look at the very bottom of the screen at the Alta Lake Golf Course, I'm thinking that there will not be tee times this weekend up at Alta Lake. I'm just spitballing here, but I think I'm pretty sure about that. Good stuff, some phenomenal views on this cloudy and cool December morning. All right, we got 3 slides to show for you. First of all is preview what's going to be happening on Friday, tomorrow. Today's going to be quiet. Next round of, again, there's 3 weather systems that are going to basically march right through the area. Snow is on your left, rain is on your right. As you can see, almost no snow for anybody except right in the crest of the Cascades on Friday. We're looking at maybe a little bit of light rain on Friday. So mountain snow and valley rain. And the reason we're looking at rain on Friday is we're going to see temperatures in the lower 40s both today and tomorrow. So in the lower elevations of our viewing area, we're not expecting any snow. We are expecting rain on Friday. And then the weekend, well, it's going to be a whole bunch of stuff going on here. Considerable snow going to come down in both the Cascades and in the Idaho Panhandle. Expected over the weekend on Friday night, Saturday, and Saturday night. By the time they get through Saturday, they could have a couple new feet of snow in the Cascades. And we're going to have some pretty rapid snowmelt because it's going to be very mild for the end of autumn and the beginning of December. And it's all about the atmospheric river. This is an updated graphic from what we showed you earlier in the week. It's lined up and it's ready to go. You can see where it kind of pinches in the lower left-hand corner of your screen. That's the Hawaiian Islands almost. And it's taking all this moist tropical air and it's heading right to the northwest. And we're right in the bullseye, right in the jet stream. And so it's going to bring in much warmer air than we're used to, which is why we're looking at rain and not snow for most of our viewing areas. And temperatures will be well above normal once we get to the weekend. In fact, they're going to be well above normal starting today if the forecast holds true. Again, didn't quite pan out the way the National Weather Service was predicting. So there you go. Today, partly cloudy and a high of 43. So we're going to start warming up a little bit. We're dealing with some patchy fog. It should be burning off. Slight chance of some snow tonight. I wouldn't bet on it. It's only 10%. I just threw that out there. Snow level tonight will be right around 2,000 feet. We'll dip down to 32 degrees. Snow levels are very important. On Friday, the snow level will be 2,700 feet. So whatever precipitation we get on Friday will be a rain-snow mix until it raises up and the warm air comes in. Then it switches over to just rain and a high of 42. Saturday, again, good chance of rain, not so much snow. We're not anticipating. The snow level is going to be at 3,800 feet on the afternoon on Saturday. So we'll top off at about 42 degrees. Look at Sunday. A little rain on Sunday, mostly in the morning, and then the system passes through. So system Friday, system Saturday, system Sunday. The Sunday system will be petered out by noon on Sunday. We'll see some sun breaks and a high of 46. Wow. For the last day of autumn, and we begin winter on Monday under mostly cloudy skies and a high of about 40. Again, look at these temperatures, very mild before we kind of calm down a little bit. So it's going to be very active weather, nothing super duper dramatic, not a big, huge weather event out there, but there is that, that Pacific storms that's going to come in over the course of the next, really right in, they tell us right through Monday before it finally peters out. So very mild temperatures and rain and not snow for the vast majority of our viewing area. Okay, to the mountain passes we go. Blah, yeah, not good at all. I-90 has, let me check here, the last I looked, they had a traction tire requirement, and that is the case. It is snowing, not too hard, but there's lots of snow and slush on the roadway. They're trying to catch up with all the snow that I-90 got overnight. Traction tires are required on I-90 with snow and slush on the roadway. Traction tires are required on Stevens, if we can even see it. We can, covered in snow. Light snow, gusty winds, compact snow and ice on the roadway. Again, traction tires are required on Stevens. And don't forget now, State Patrol's checking. They don't think you have the right kind of traction tire, they're not gonna be happy with you. Blue Pass has a traction tire advisory. It's snowing lightly on Blewett Pass with some compact snow and ice on the roadway. So again, traction tire requirements are up and running on Snoqualmie and on Stevens. Traction tires advised on Blewett. There's a winter weather advisory. It's in effect until noon today. So 3 to 5 inches possible, but most of that's going to come down in the morning hours before the first initial system runs out of gas. 2 to 4 inches of snow in the mountain passes tonight. 3 to 7 inches on Friday. 3 to 7 inches on Friday night. and a couple more inches on Saturday. By the time we get to sundown on Saturday in the Cascades, the total new snow accumulations will be anywhere from 11 to 25 inches. And then Saturday night and Sunday, you notice we're going to get those really warm temperatures in the valley. It's supposed to rain in the mountain passes on Saturday night and Sunday as the moist, warm air pays us a visit. It is 10 minutes after the hour. Going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have your Thursday morning news. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Succession is leading the way for a new generation of Chelan wineries. Named Platinum Winemaker of the Year in 2017 and the one to watch in 2018 by Wine Press, Succession is setting the pace. Award-winning wines are just a part of the overall experience. Add live music on Sundays and fantastic views, and you have it all. Succession Wines, located on the north shore of Lake Chelan between Chelan and Manson.
12 minutes after the hour, 31 degrees with foggy and cloudy skies. Fog and clouds will burn off, they tell us. By noon or so, we'll see temperatures in the 40s, very mild temperatures. Rain in the lower elevations, light snow in the upper elevations, heavy snow in the Cascades, and very mild temperatures coming our way this weekend. And here's your news. COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations in Chelan and Douglas counties have shown slight declines in the past week after several weeks of sharp increases for both. After the cases per 100,000 people in the two counties over the past 2 weeks surpassed 1,000 last week, that number slipped to 906 cases per 100,000 this week. And that's still, of course, far higher than the health district's goal of 25 cases per 100,000 over a 14-day period. The number of people being treated for COVID-19 at Central Washington Hospital also on the decline. 33 hospitalizations as of Tuesday, 7 of those patients in the ICU. Last Friday, there were 44 COVID-19 patients at the hospital. Yesterday, the Chelan Douglas Health District reported 55 new positive tests for the virus. Back on December 4th, the two counties reported a record 226 new cases. Speaking of the Chelan Douglas Health District, they've had a lot of directors this year, 3 of them, as a matter of fact, since the COVID-19 crisis began, and now it has its 4th. Luke Davies is an Orondo native who right now serves as program officer for the University of Washington's International Health Programs. The 33-year-old Davies accepted the position Monday as administrator for the two-county health district. Former administrator Barry Kling, he retired in July amid tensions with members of the Board of Health that oversees the district. Nathan Weed is the current interim director. Davies has worked extensively in overseas, including providing health aid to Haiti after that devastating earthquake 10 years ago. A police pursuit of a suspected stolen vehicle on Tuesday on Highway 17 between Brewster and Bridgeport ended when the driver, he went through an orchard and then onto a dirt road, and then he became stuck in snow on the edge of a ravine. Brewster police said the suspect and passenger then tried to flee on foot. They were quickly apprehended. Police say the vehicle had been reported stolen out of Malott. There were no injuries. A Wenatchee man is accused of choking his partner and breaking her finger in an act of domestic violence. 30-year-old Hank J. Schoenmakers allegedly attacked the woman back in June, but wasn't charged until last month when Chelan County prosecutors filed a count of second-degree assault. Wenatchee police say Schoenmakers grabbed the victim in a chokehold and broke her finger, trying to pry her car keys out of her hand. He was summoned to his first appearance in court yesterday. The proposed Confluence Parkway traffic project in the North Wenatchee area has become more expensive, and 3 agencies have agreed to help the city of Wenatchee pay for some of those additional costs. Link Transit, the Chelan Douglas Regional Port Authority, and The Chelan County PUD chipped in almost $490,000 towards the needed $690,000 for a required environmental review. The Wenatchee City Council finalized those agreements last week.
So I think the good news is we're moving forward on NEPA. We did get some significant contributions from both the port and link, and the PUD is contributing, not what we would have liked, but their staff is doing a lot of work and working with our staff. So we sort of feel like this is a good spot for us. There's a chance that the scope will come in a little bit lower and the money will come in a little bit lower, but this is something we need to get to the finish line if we're going to compete at the federal level for the kinds of projects. So it was a good summer as we got most of that money put together.
Our timeline now is to have the NEPA process completed in early 2022, allowing the license amendment by the PUD to happen by June of 2022. And so we are working backwards from there to get everything in line to make that happen.
Overall, the Confluence Parkway project is expected to cost about $120 million, if not more, by the time it's completed. The city has spent years seeking multiple grants from multiple agencies to help fund the project. Douglas County's largest electrical consumers are going to see their costs rise next year. New rates adopted by the PUD earlier this year go into effect. In January, high processing data centers will see a 5% increase on January 1st and then again on July 1st. And cryptocurrency customers can expect a 10% increase for their rate schedules. Those industries, of course, are among the Douglas PUD's biggest power users. The rate increases passed back in January in part to pay for repairs, expensive repairs at Wells Dam. Well, we had a little snow overnight, didn't affect most schools, but snow days are going to look a lot different for the Wenatchee school kids during the pandemic. The Wenatchee School District says when weather requires buildings to be closed this year, all students will learn online rather than skipping a day of instruction. Right now, most students are attending classes online by Zoom, but some students have been readmitted to school buildings for hybrid in-person learning, mostly in the lower grade levels. All students and parents are asked to be prepared to transition between hybrid and online learning during the winter months. The Forest Service is reminding people that once roads in the federal forest are covered with snow, 4x4 vehicles, you can't go on them, even if the gates to the roads are open. Only snow recreation is allowed on those roads. That includes, of course, snowmobiles and cross-country skiers. Often the Okanagan-Wenatchee Forest Service roads are groomed specifically for those activities. The Forest Service said, though the roads appear stable, as you can see, 4x4 vehicles can easily become stuck and, in turn, damage the roads. For once, Governor Jay Inslee had another topic to address aside from the COVID pandemic. In a press briefing, he announced a series of climate action steps he plans to include in his budget proposals for this state in the year 2021. Inslee says the state can combat climate change that leads to wildfires and flooding while also creating good-paying jobs.
These proposals that I'm making today are comprehensive, they are robust, and they are appropriately ambitious because they're intending to meet or come very close to meeting our goals that have been statutorily codified by the last legislative session. And we have done some really good work in our state already. But it is clear that we need to move forward with these strong steps if we're going to meet our legislatively adopted requirements and our moral obligation to ourselves and our grandchildren. And we know that we can do this while we grow our economy. We already have 90,000 plus clean energy jobs in our state, and that number is continuing to grow rapidly. The top 4 categories in clean energy jobs are all in the building sector, meaning jobs for carpenters and engineers and many other professions in our construction and transportation industries. So the policies were announced today are based both in a respect for our health and our environment, but they are also based on economic principles and scientific principles. And our state has been successful in so many decades because we've embraced both concepts. We honor science rather than ignoring it, and we recognize a good deal when we see one so that we can grow what has been one of the best economies in the United States.
Finally, on this Thursday morning, it's been a long-time tradition during the holiday season, a high school production of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol at Moses Lake. But can't do live plays, of course, so Moses Lake High School decided to produce their Christmas Carol as a podcast. It's going to be done in the style of an old-time radio show, voices, music, sound effects, what have you. The production is available in 4 parts, and you can go to the official Moses Lake School District podcast. You can also download their production of A Christmas Carol from Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, CastBox, Spotify, and Stitcher. I don't know what those are. And that is the news at 21 minutes after the hour. The newly haircutted Grant Olson anchors the news. He does the weather forecasting. Eric Granstrom at the sports desk with a preview of the Thursday night news. Here's Grant.
Good morning, Dan. Tonight on the NCW Life Evening News, we'll have our bi-weekly feature, Paws for Pets, with the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. How long will this wet weather last? I'll let you know in your complete North Central Washington weather forecast. And in sports, Eric Granstrom will have more from Seahawks camps as they prepare for the Washington football team this weekend. That and all the day's news stories coming up tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Life Evening News. We hope to see you then. Dan?
Thanks, Grant. We'd love to hear from you, our viewers, and you're pretty good at getting a hold of us. You can go to our Facebook page, drop us a note via Facebook Messenger. That's quite popular. You can email us directly, news@ncwlife.com, news@ncwlife.com. Or if you go to our homepage, you'll see the contact icon at the top of the screen. Click on it, and it pops a form. You fill it out, you push send, and we get it right here at the Broadcast Metroplex here in downtown Wenatchee. All right, 22 minutes after the hour, going to take a break. Come back, we got sports, including previewing the Seahawks and the Washington football team. We'll have the obscure holiday coming your way. Yeah, it's a food-related one again, but it is what it is. We'll have some celebrity birthdays today in history. Mike McNally's got an opinion, and Paws for Pets. It's all coming up. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
CVCH wants to make your winter just a little brighter with their Get Out and Explore gift giveaway. This December and January, visit cvchgetout.com and download fun, safe, and simple activity guides to 4 beautiful towns in our backyard: Wenatchee, Chelan, Cashmere, and Leavenworth. Most activities are free of charge and unique to the community you visit. So get out and explore. Visit cvchgetout.com for details.
Dr. Wayne Latimer's Chiropractic and Integrative Multicare specializes in all level of injury care. If you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, have a sports injury, or a simple fall, call today for a free consultation. They offer a combined multi-care approach with medical, chiropractic, physical therapy, massage, and acupuncture. For relief from long-standing injuries to basic solutions for the weekend warrior, Latimer's Chiropractic Integrative Multicare is one stop, one location.
We're back at 23 minutes after the hour. Sports. It's been an interesting saga this year for the Washington football team. First, of course, they changed their name. Then they had allegations of sexual harassment within the workplace. And then Ron Rivera, the coach, battling cancer. And then finally, Alex Smith, who broke his leg 2 years ago and almost lost his life because of it. And, Seahawks coach Pete Carroll says he's not surprised that Washington has rallied and is in a position to win the NFC East.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you could have a more inspiring, story ongoing, than they have, and I mean, that's just like you said, it's a human interest. Everybody can relate to what they're going through and what they pulled off. I mean, Alex's thing is well documented and extraordinary, and to see Ron be able to withstand during this other stuff that's going on as well, to deal with his issues with cancer and all that, and pull through, but not just make it, but to make it and excel. Both guys excelling at what they do. It's just as good as it gets in terms of inspiration and I'm sure motivation for a lot of people that are trying to make it through a lot of hard stuff. Both those guys have come across with such feeling and empathy and for others and willingness to share their story and all of that, it's really powerful.
Washington has the 4th-ranked defense in the NFL. They've got 40 sacks on the year so far, and needless to say, Coach Pete Carroll says Washington's defense is going to be quite the challenge for Seattle's offense.
Yeah, it's really the whole unit that really makes this thing move. You know, they're just loaded. They're able to play a lot of base defense and be really effective with their 4-man rush, but also how they play the run too. You know, and this is it's built around those guys, and you know, it's a real challenge to have, you know, that kind of quality on the edge. Just makes such a difference, and Jack knows what he's doing with making those guys available for a lot of outside edge type rushing. You know, it's what all the coaches are looking for.
At the start of the NFL season, Alex Smith was the 3rd-string quarterback for Washington, and now he's the starting quarterback for Washington as they make a run towards the playoff. Coach Pete Carroll says it doesn't really matter if it's Smith or Dwayne Haskins at quarterback. The Seahawk defense needs to be ready.
Fortunately, we've seen enough of you know, both quarterbacks, and so we have plenty of film. So we know, you know, how they've chosen to play with them, you know, in championship situations. So that you know, we're clued in. They've got a really cool offense and style about the way they do their thing, and both quarterbacks can manage really well. The difference is Alex has just been around so much longer. You know, he just has so much more background. But both guys are talented, big arms, really quick releases on both guys, and they utilize it.
By the way, rumors have surfaced about Brian Schottenheimer, the Seahawks offensive coordinator. Apparently, he might be on the short list to be the new head coach of the Texans, and Coach Pete Carroll says he's not surprised.
Yeah, I think he's an incredible candidate. I think he's exactly what coaches or owners are looking for. He's been around. He's been in charge. He commands the whole team with you know, his leadership. He's got great background. Yeah, I say that because I know he's been through our program for enough years that I know that he's got his philosophy in order. He's got his approach and how he would do it, because we've worked on all that stuff, and so he's ready to go. We haven't talked about it this time around yet, but we've talked about it in the past, and I did hear that, you know, like yesterday or something like that maybe there's something up. So see what happens.
Seattle and Washington. It's a 10 a.m. kickoff on Sunday at FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland, and you can watch the game on Fox. Let's take a look at the Les Schwab scoreboard. Men's college basketball from last night. Washington got off to a slow start. They just looked lethargic. Never really got going. Stunned on their home court. They lost to Montana, 66-58. It was the first win by Montana over the Huskies since their head coach, Travis DeQuire, played for Montana. In 1994, the Grizzlies had 5 players in double figures. Kyle Owens led the way with 13 points. The Huskies' leading scorer, Kade Green, had just 4 points on the night as Washington drops to 1-5 on the season. Hey, it's Thursday, hockey night here on the NCW Life Channel. It's the Wenatchee Wild and the Chilliwack Chiefs. It's a game from last February at the Town Toyota Center. It was a rematch with the team that knocked Wenatchee out of the RBC Cup semifinals back in 2018. Arch Ecker had the call on the Wenatchee Wild Hockey Network.
His cross-corner dump-in is off to the left of Chenard. Smacked off the wall, and then Dechorski. He backhands it, leaping though. It's gloved and held in the zone by Moore. Moore in, shot, and he scores. Ooh, nice shot from the right circle. 28 seconds left in power play time. Up top, Bavaro, shot, pad, save, rebound, score! Matt Dorsey. Power play goal for the Wild. We're even at a goal apiece. Nick Cherkowski spins into center, drops it off, back across, shot, and a score. Connor Milburn ended up with it. A lot of chatter, but a little bit of a blade shove. Luley gave Reynolds a face wash, and now Penny comes in and they start throwing. Penny trying to get after Luley. Cherkowski continues to battle for it, then loses it to Ormsby. Ormsby up the right side is going to try to get the angle. He's in, he shoots, he scores! Luke Ormsby powering up the right wing. Got a step, cut hard to the front of the net, and just jammed it in home low underneath Karan.
Who won? Not going to tell you. Tune in tonight at 7 o'clock to find out who wins. Hockey night tonight, followed by high school sports. Over the weekend, we got hoops tomorrow night. Eastmont battling Moses Lake. Grant with the call. 7 o'clock for the girls, 8:30 for the boys on Saturday. Eric courtside for Eastmont and Davison games from last February 7th. And those are just some of the games that people are playing at the bottom of the hour. Dig out your waffles, your French toast, your pancakes, what have you. Slab some butter on top and top the whole thing off with good old genuine maple syrup. It is maple syrup day today. I went grocery shopping Monday, just a little bit, a couple trips. I'm not going to tell you what store I went to. I told Albertsons I wasn't going to mention their name, but I noticed real maple syrup. I mean, the real deal, no additives, no preservatives, none of that stuff. It's expensive. It's expensive. But I mean, it's the real deal. It's maple syrup. Of course, maple trees in cold climates, which is where they grow, they store starch in the roots and in their trunks. And in the spring, the starch is converted to sugar, and then it rises up and makes sap. And then you bore holes in the trunk of the maple tree, and the released sap is collected. You collect the sap, you process it by heating it to evaporate all the water, and then you have the concentrated syrup, and it's down the road you go. Making maple syrup is incredibly labor intensive. It takes roughly 40 gallons of sap, 40 gallons of sap to make 1 gallon of genuine maple syrup. The United States used to lead the world in the production of maple syrup. We don't anymore. Canada passed us quite some time ago. In fact, 80% of the world's supply of maple syrup comes from Canada. Quebec province alone generates 2/3 of all the maple syrup to be found in this world. And as you know, we have strategic oil reserves. You know, we have it stored just in case. OPEC has strategic oil reserves. In Canada, they have strategic maple syrup reserves. I kid you not. The Federation of Quebec Maple Syrup Producers keeps a stockpile, heavily guarded like Fort Knox, in a huge distribution plant. So whenever there's a bad year for maple syrup, if they have a lean production year, they can tap into their strategic maple syrup reserve so people can get their maple syrup fix. It's such an important thing that 8 years ago, a bunch of crooks actually broke into the warehouse where the strategic maple syrup reserve is stored, and they stole 6 million pounds of maple syrup. One of the largest thefts of an agricultural product ever. They never got caught either. That's taking your maple syrup a little too seriously, but who's kidding who? The real deal is the real deal. And you don't need to put a lot on it either. Maple syrup packs a pretty good punch. Okay, today in history. December 7th, 1777, 243 years ago. Today, we love the French because the French hated the British. France formally recognizes the United States of America as a country. They were the first foreign country to do so. And yeah, the French had their own motivations. They had just lost the 7 Years' War to Great Britain. They didn't like, England and France have been fighting for centuries. So having just lost the 7 Years' War, they were pretty ticked off about that anyway. And they said, hey, if we support the Americans, then the British are going to have to put resources and troops and stuff to try and fight this American Revolutionary War. The Declaration of Independence, once it got delivered to France, was hugely celebrated by everybody, not just the aristocracy and the government, but the general population. So France said, we're on board. You want to fight the British? We're with you. Thanks, France. And they built us a nice statue, which is in New York Harbor. Happened 243 years ago today. Aviation history made on this date. There it is. December 17th, 1903, 117 years ago today, the Wright brothers make the very first controlled, powered, heavier-than-air flight, and the Wright Flyer at Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. Of course, now the Wright Flyer is at the Smithsonian Institute. Almost didn't make it. After the Wright Flyer crashed a couple of times. It was pretty heavily damaged. They shipped it back to Dayton, Ohio, and then they stored it. They took it apart and they stored it in crates in a shed for 10 years. Orville and Wilbur Wright kind of just forgot about it. They were too busy developing and getting better and better at this flight thing. And then they had the Great Dayton Flood in March of 1913, which covered the original flyer in mud and water and gunk for a couple of weeks, and then it started rotting away. And then finally, the right said, let's just burn it. And somebody said, no, let's not. Let's not. You know, it's a historical machine. Let's not burn it. Let's at least clean it up and see if somebody wants to put it back together again. And that's what happened. But they came that close to actually just junking the Wright Flyer. Somebody was paying attention. It's 117 years ago today. The very first NFL championship game was played on this date 87 years ago today. December 17th, 1933 at Wrigley Field in Chicago. Chicago Bears, New York Giants did battle. The Bears won. The final was 23-21. Players on the NFL teams didn't get paid for playoffs. You only got paid for the regular season. So the problem that the owners had and the NFL had is, how do we pay the players who played in the championship game? So they divvied up the gate receipts. The gate receipts came out to about $21,000. So each player on the Bears got $210 for playing in the championship game. Each player for the Giants got about $140 each. You got to pay them. That happened 87 years ago today. We mentioned historical flights, historical airplanes. The plane that changed aviation history, the DC-3, made its maiden flight on this date, December 17th, 1935, 85 years ago today. It was the very first plane that made a profit by just carrying passengers. Just carrying passengers. Before that, airplanes had to carry passengers and luggage and mail and packaging and things like that. They said, no, we can make money just by putting rear ends in seats. It was a fast plane. It was a comfortable plane. It was a reliable plane. You could fly in the DC-3. You could fly from New York City to LA in 18 hours and only had to stop 3 times along the way for refueling. By 1930, this is how important the DC-3 was. By 1938, 95% of all air traffic in the United States were DC-3s. As pilots and aviation buffs used to say, the only replacement for a DC-3 is another DC-3. And they're still out there. They're still flying them. It's incredibly durable. It can take off and land on very short runways. It can take off on land and land on grass runways, dirt runways. So they fly them into jungles and remote areas because it can handle it. They still use DC-3s for spraying crops, smoke jumping, sky jumping. They do it for, flying into remote areas. It's a workhorse, and it made its very first flight on this date in 1935. And happy birthday to The Simpsons. December 17th, 1989, 31 years ago today. The Simpsons makes its premiere on television with the special, The Simpsons Christmas special, Simpsons Roasting on an Open Fire. To date, The Simpsons have broadcast 694 episodes. It is by far the longest-running sitcom in American television history. It is by far the longest-running scripted television show in American history, both by seasons and number of episodes. And coming up in March, episode number 700 will be broadcast. And it keeps going. The Simpsons made its debut 31 years ago today. And finally, birthdays. He was born Jorge Mario Bergoglio. You know him as the Pope. He's Pope Francis, and he's 84 years old today. A whole bunch of firsts for this guy. Of course, he was the very first Jesuit pope. He was the very first pope from the Americas. He was the very first pope from the Southern Hemisphere, the first pope from outside of Europe since Pope Gregory, who was from the Middle East, and he reigned in the 8th century. And of course, you don't just get to be the pope. You have to, work your way up the ladder, if you will. He had other jobs before he joined the priesthood. For instance, he worked as a bouncer. A bar bouncer. The Pope was a bar bouncer. He was also a janitor. He swept floors at a local bar where he grew up. Got to make money somehow. Happy 84th birthday, by the way, to Pope Francis. Going to take a break. We got 2 things on the agenda. Well, one thing, Mike McNalty's opinion. But first things first, every other Thursday, we bring you Paws for Pets with Megan McPherson. It's time to meet Gus the dog.
Megan here with the NCW Life Channel. We're here with Jenny, the volunteer coordinator at the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society, and Gus is joining us this week. Can you tell us about Gus?
Yeah, Gus, unfortunately we don't know a whole lot about Gus. Gus came to us as a stray. We think he's about 7 years old. He sure is a nice dog. He was recently neutered, so he hasn't joined playgroup yet. But in his kennel, hey buddy, he's pretty mellow. He's easygoing. He likes to walk. He likes his people a lot, so he lights up every time somebody comes by to get him. He really seems to connect with people. And again, we don't know a whole lot about poor Gus here because he came in as a stray. But from our volunteers and our staff here, he's just a pretty easygoing, sweet guy. We think he's a husky mixed. He's not quite full husky, but he has those gorgeous blue eyes, if you would actually look up.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's about it with Gus.
Okay. What should someone do if they want to adopt him?
They need to call the shelter to make an appointment to come meet Gus. And he is actually ready to go today. He does have a slight cold that he's being treated for, but he has been neutered and he is ready to go. So they just call the shelter at 662-9577 and set up an appointment to meet Gus.
The Wenatchee Valley Humane Society is located at 1474 South Wenatchee Avenue and is open by appointment only. Call them at 509-662-9577 to schedule a meet and greet or visit their website at wenatcheehumane.org. Visit the Chelan Valley for the first annual Small Town Holiday Celebration featured at these local merchants.
Chelan Wireless is your Verizon authorized retailer featuring the latest iPhone and Android devices. Personal or business, they have the plan and the customer service you're looking for. From home furnishings to the latest in home entertainment technology, Deepwater Home and Electronics can provide the selection and the connection for your wireless world.
Businesses and individuals have trusted the experienced professionals of financial alternatives for their retirement and investment needs for 40 years. They offer a broad range of investments, annuities, and insurance solutions for people and businesses throughout Washington. Financial alternatives will assist you in making informed decisions for your future. Call Financial Alternatives today and meet with their advisors.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
Arctic Refrigeration and Heating has been serving North Central Washington for 34 years. Arctic provides the finest heating and cooling air quality products for residential and commercial customers, along with prompt and professional customer service. Arctic also offers specialty services like custom sheet metal fabrication of ductwork, coil cleaning, as well as planned fall and spring maintenance for the overall well-being of your system. Arctic is available for emergency calls 24/7. Call Arctic Refrigeration and Heating for your heating and cooling needs.
Mary Maids of Wenatchee has been professionally cleaning and sanitizing homes and businesses in North Central Washington since 1998. Mary Maids uses commercial-grade cleaners and viricides. Mary Maids has implemented additional safety and sanitation protocols. They are strictly following CDC guidelines for the safety of their clients and employees. For expert help with cleaning and sanitizing your home or business, call or look up Mary Maids of Wenatchee to schedule your free estimate today.
Experience the difference in Manson at Mountain View Lodge, where you can park and leave your car and your cares behind. Your winter package starts at just $109, featuring treats from the Coffee Cabin at Rio Vista, Wine Girl Wines, and the North Shore Cafe. Call Mountain View Lodge and Resort or book online. Stay the night. Your room is ready.
This is Mike Mad Dog McNutty, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, okay, this new Gillette commercial, based on their slogan, the best a man could get, that addresses the issues of how we raise our sons. Now, here's my take. Now, What's wrong with teaching our sons not to be bullies and not to harass women? What's wrong with that? Let's face it, for far too long, we have been accepting of certain behaviors from the males in our society, which certainly are not the best a man could be. A real man expresses his strength through gentleness, not by bullying and harassment, and that is the truth. This is Mike Magnotti, and that's not only my opinion, that's reality.
Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere is your place for famous blues, brews, and barbecue.
Currently, Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere is open for takeout. Owner Justin Hefner and his staff are just as excited as you to get back to their regularly scheduled full menu, music, and poker, so stay tuned. Meanwhile, Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere is serving a limited menu for lunch and dinner takeout.
Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere, the coolest place in town.
Winter is a great time to trade in your current hot tub. Turn your old hot tub into money with Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa's trade-in program. You can save $500 to $1,000 off of any new artesian spa or take advantage of a free Bluetooth music experience. Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa recommends draining your hot tub every 3 months. Ask us about our drain and refill special. Stop on by Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa today.
Contractors, furniture makers, and weekend do-it-yourselfers around north central Washington will tell you that Lombard's Hardwood Supply is the place to get what you need. Lombard's full millwork shop can handle jobs large or small. Lombard's has a full line of interior and exterior doors available, as well as custom barn doors. From alderwood to zebrawood and everything in between, it's Lombard's Hardwood Supply on School Street in Sunny Slope. Like us on Facebook and check out our monthly special.
The two hottest pickups in America are at Town Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. First, the Ram 1500 with back-to-back Truck of the Year awards from Motor Trend, and now the Car and Driver 10 Best list for 2020. They call it a luxury sedan with pickup capabilities. Ram is on a roll now with third-generation eco-diesel power. Next up, the Jeep Gladiator, also a 2020 10 Best model based on the new award-winning Jeep Wrangler. It has options and capabilities that no other truck can offer. Two more reasons when it comes to buying a truck. There's no reason to leave town.
"47 minutes after the hour, low clouds, some freezing fog. We've dipped down a couple of degrees, 28 outside of our studios. We're going to see highs, they tell us, National Weather Service, right around 40 with some warm air coming our way. Let's take a look at what's making headlines once more on this Thursday morning. COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations in Chelan and Douglas counties have shown slight decreases in the past week after several weeks of sharp increases for both. After the cases per 100,000 people in the two-county area over the last 2 weeks surpassed 1,000 last week, that number slipped to 906 cases per 100,000 this week. That's still, of course, a lot higher than the health district's goal of 25 cases per 100,000 over a 14-day period. The number of people being treated for COVID-19 at Central Washington Hospital also showed a decline, with 33 hospitalizations as of Tuesday, 7 of those patients in the intensive care unit. Last Friday, there were 44 COVID-19 patients at the hospital. Yesterday, the Chelan-Douglas Health District reported 55 new positive tests for the virus. On December 4th, the two counties reported a record 226 new cases. The Chelan-Douglas Health District has had 3 directors since the COVID-19 pandemic began back in March, and now it has its 4th. Luke Davies is an Orondo native who right now serves as program officer for the University of Washington's International Health Programs. The 33-year-old Davies accepted the position Monday of administrator for the two-county health district. Former administrator Barry Kling retired in July amid tensions with members of the Board of Health that oversees the district. Nathan Weed is the current interim director. Davies has worked extensively in overseas areas, including providing health aid to Haiti after their devastating earthquake 10 years ago. A police pursuit of a suspected stolen vehicle on Tuesday between Brewster and Bridgeport on Highway 17 ended when the driver went through an orchard onto a dirt road and then became stuck in snow on the edge of a ravine. Brewster police say the suspect and a passenger then tried to flee on foot. They were apprehended rather quickly. Police say the vehicle had been reported stolen out of Malott. There were no injuries. A Wenatchee man is accused of choking his partner and breaking her finger in an act of domestic violence. 30-year-old Hank J. Schoenmakers allegedly attacked the woman back in June, but wasn't charged until last month. That's when Chelan County prosecutors filed a second-degree assault charge. Wenatchee police say Schoenmakers grabbed the victim in a chokehold and broke her finger trying to pry her car keys out of her hand. He was summoned to his first appearance in court yesterday. The proposed Confluence Parkway traffic project for North Wenatchee Avenue has gotten more expensive, and so 3 agencies have agreed to help the city of Wenatchee pay some of those additional costs. Link Transit, the Chelan-Douglas Regional Port Authority, and the Chelan County PUD. They each chipped in some money, about $490,000, towards the needed $690,000 for a required environmental review. The Wenatchee City Council finalized those agreements last week.
So I think the good news is we're moving forward on NEPA. We did get some significant contributions from both the port and Link, and the PUD is contributing, not what we would have liked, but their staff is doing a lot of work and working with our staff. So we sort of feel like this is a good spot for us. There's a chance that the scope will come in a little bit lower and the money will come in a little bit lower, but this is something we need to get to the finish line if we're going to compete at the federal level for the kinds of projects. So it was a good summer as we got most of that money put together.
Our timeline now is to have the NEPA process completed in early 2022, allowing the license amendment by the PUD to happen by June of 2022. And so we are working backwards from there to get everything in line to make that happen.
The overall costs of the Confluence Parkway is expected to cost about $120 million if it gets completed. The city has spent years seeking multiple federal grants to help fund the project. Douglas County's largest power consumers are going to see their costs rise in 2021. New rates adopted by the PUD earlier this year go into effect in January. High processing data centers will see a 5% increase on January 1st and July 1st. Cryptocurrency customers can expect a 10% increase for their rate schedules. Those industries are among the Douglas PUD's biggest users of power. The rate increases were passed back in January, in part to pay for expensive repairs at Wells Dam. Snow Day is going to look a lot different for the Wenatchee School District kids during the pandemic. The school district says when weather requires buildings to be closed this year, students, all of them, will learn online rather than skipping a day of instruction. Of course, right now, most students are attending classes online, but some students have been readmitted to school buildings for hybrid in-person learning, mostly in the lower grade levels. All students and parents are asked to be prepared to transition between hybrid and online learning during the winter months. And friendly reminder from the U.S. Forest Service. Once roads on the federal forest are covered with snow, you can't drive 4x4 vehicles there. Even if the gates to the road remains open, only snow recreation will be allowed on those roads. That includes, of course, snowmobiling and cross-country skiing. Often the Okanagan-Wenatchee National Forest Service roads, they are groomed specifically for snow sports. The Forest Service said, yeah, the road may look stable, but 4x4 vehicles, as you can see there, they can easily get stuck and damage the roads. And sometimes you may even have to wait till spring to dig your truck out. And that's a look at what's making headlines at 54 minutes after the hour. One more break, and we'll come back with one more look at your weather forecast, and we'll take you up to the mountain passes as well. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life Channel.
Hi, my name is Blaine Johnson. I'm at Global Elite Motors. We're tied in with Global Car Care down here locally. So we're not your typical car buying experience. Somebody can come down here, take a look at what we have, and if we have the right vehicle for you, we'd be glad to help you out with it. A lot of times we are able to go out and find specific vehicles for somebody so that it fits their needs, their budget, and all the things that you want without you being obligated right away. If you're looking for a good, reliable car, come see me, Blaine Johnson, down at Global Elite Motors.
Family roles change with time. You may find yourself being an unpaid caregiver to a loved one. Caregiving can be rewarding, but also stressful. Taking care of yourself is vital. Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington has low or no cost services for unpaid caregivers, such as in-home support, care supplies, and counseling. connect in your local area by calling Aging in Adult Care at 800-572-4459 and mention you're interested in caregiver support.
Hey folks, Carrie from Blueberry Hills. A chill is in the air and it's a perfect time for some old-fashioned comfort food like our amazing Eggs Benedict, chicken fried steak, French dips, soups made from scratch, or fruit pies fresh from the oven. The crowds might be gone, but we're still here for you folks. So bring an appetite and a friend to Blueberry Hills in Manson, where you pick, you sit, you eat, and you visit. Open Wednesday through Sunday from 8 to 3. wildaboutberries.com.
With PUD rebates, we'll give you money to upgrade your house and reduce your energy footprint.
The rebates are real. Visit conservationmakessense.org to learn more.
We're back. Yeah, it's cloudy, it's foggy, but we're looking for some mild temperatures heading our way right into the end of autumn and the beginning of winter. We got 3 slides to show for you. First of all, precipitation tomorrow. Snow is on your left, rain is on your right, and, well, we're not looking at any snow. Snow, obviously, in the Idaho Panhandle and along the crest of the Cascades on Friday. But here in the lower elevations, as you can see to your right, whatever precipitation we get on Friday is going to come down in the form of rain. Could even see some pretty heavy rain along the east slopes of the Cascades in the Plain area and in the Leavenworth area. So watch out for some significant snow melting there. Weekend storms, yeah. It's going to be a wet and warm weekend. Maybe not so much wind for us, but certainly quite wet in the form of rain and quite warm in the form of temperatures well into the 40s on Saturday and Sunday. It's all because of that atmospheric river that we talk so much about. We have an updated atmospheric river slide to show for you, and that is the latest from the Climate Prediction Control Center. So what's going on is, as you can see, the jet stream is just aimed right at us, and all that warm, moist air out in the central Pacific Ocean is beelining right for north central Washington, bringing with it quite a bit of moisture and also quite a bit of very mild air, especially for this time of the year from the National Weather Service. Let's take a look at this in detail. So patchy fog this morning, clouds this morning. By noon or so, it should start burning off as the sun begins to climb. Partly sunny skies this afternoon, partly cloudy, I should say. High of about 43 degrees. Slight chance of some showers tonight. I don't think so. Snow level is going to be about 2,000 feet overnight tonight, but no moisture really associated with it. We'll dip down to 32. Next chance of moisture happens on Friday with a chance of rain mostly in the afternoon. The snow level is going to be at 2,700 feet on Friday, so we're looking at rain on the valley floor with a high of 42. Friday night, snow level goes even higher. Normally the snow level goes down in the overnight. Nope, it's going to go up to 4,300 feet on Friday night. So whatever we get Friday night will come down in the form of rain. Saturday, snow level will be right around 4,000 feet. Told you it was bringing in some warm air. Mostly cloudy on Saturday with a high of 42. Some rain on Sunday morning, then it gives way to some sun breaks with a high of 46 on Sunday. That's not a misprint. Wow, that's warm. And of course, Sunday is the last day of autumn. The winter solstice is in the wee small hours of Monday. Monday is the first day of winter. Tuesday, the first full day of winter. It's going to cool down finally. But the real story is pretty active weather, really, for everybody right until we get to Tuesday of next week. Speaking of active weather, wow. Mountain passes, how are things up there? It hasn't been a very good commute this morning. Traction tires are still required. That's a live shot of Snoqualmie Pass. It is snowing hard now on Snoqualmie Pass. Traction tires are required. Snow and slush and ice on the roadway there. Stevens, traction tires are required. It's light snow. It's also blowing around. Same deal, though, as Snoqualmie Pass. You got compact snow and ice on the roadway. And again, traction tires are required on Stevens. Blewett Pass, traction tires are advised. They have compact snow and ice on the roadway. It is now starting to snow on Blewett. It was not the case earlier today. So there you go. Traction tires required on Snoqualmie, required on Stevens, advised on Blewett. They're expecting heavy snow right through Saturday. And then Saturday night, the snow switches over to rain in the Cascades. That's it for us. Have a great Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.